Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the Pro Wrestling Show presents the AEW Dynamite Ring Report. Man, AEW had a lot going on where rumors continue on circulating. Is CM Punk slated to appear on AEW's second episode of Rampage this week? We'll get to the latest on that. Also, too, a battle of rivals as Sammy Guevara takes on Shawn Spears in a instant classic match that many people are still buzzing to this day. We'll talk about that. Also, too, um, Big Show, Paul White, a C right here. Got his name. um, well, he looks done as the Big Show called him out after what he had done this past week. Forgot that dude's name. QT Marshall. Yeah, QT Marshall. Looking stunned and shocked like he never looked before that he got called out. Also, too, the Stinger appeared on TNT, wrestling on TNT for nearly 20 years, ever since going against Ric Flair. You remember that historic match him and Ric Flair had on WCW Nitro? Well, Sting makes his return to TNT within a 20-year absence to get the job done. Can Stinger do it? We'll talk about that. Also, the Young Bucks were in action as well. We'll get to the latest on that. And a whole list of others as Jericho versus MJF was the fifth and final labor of Jericho. Could Chris Jericho defeat MJF after MJF put him through hell throughout all the labors of Jericho? All this and more when the Pro Wrestling Show starts right after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition, this live morning edition of the Pro Wrestling Show presents the AEW Ring Report. I'm your host, as always, Kendra Dix here. Glad you can join us here. Join the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing here on the Pro Wrestling Show. We are live and indeed live in the living color. When we get to the latest on what's going on with CM Punk, could CM Punk possibly join AEW this Friday night on Rampage? We'll get to the latest on that. But let's get to what's going on in wrestling happenings. Wrestling kicked off this week where we talked about the Stinger. Sting has appeared in WCW, but he hasn't wrestled since the closing of WCW way back in 2001, a 20-year absence on wrestling on TNT. Sting looking to make a comeback, and Sting was about to, but Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston were starting the show with Wild Thing. They kicked it off, but things didn't go as planned as 2.0 attacked the team of Moxley and Kingston 2.0, the new team on the block. We just found out on the Talk is Jericho podcast that 2.0, who was formerly known as Ever Rising, has signed with AEW. So now they are heels with Dan Garcia, Parker, and Chase. I forgot Dan Garcia becoming legit shoot that he and 2.0 are here for the taking. So we got that. Well, we had a phenomenal match. It was phenomenal indeed. As Sting wrestled, Sting I guess Sting coming back, wrestling again. Well, Sting had a little bit trouble at the 2.0 were beating down Sting and Darby Allin in that important tag team match to kick off the show. Sting and Darby Allin had in control. The 2.0 managed to take over. 2.0 was about to set up Sting with the powerbomb. They did, as you see right here. They double powerbomb Sting, left the Stinger lane. Sting got back up. Sting had that drilling, that fire, that desire. Sting got back up. That means when Sting got back up, Sting went down and attacked both 2.0. Both had got into the position of the Scorpion Deathlock. Sting managed to put both men in the Scorpion Deathlock. Sting able to turn both of them around And when Sting did what he did, he turned them around and got the win with the Scorpion Deathlock, a maneuver that I used to admire Sting when Sting was in WCW. I used to be way before WWE. WWE was okay, but WCW was more bell to bell action. Sting got the win with submission over 2.0, making both men tap out. And Sting cemented his legacy, being back on TNT within a 20-year absence. Big ups to Sting. Sting trying to keep up with everyone, keep up with Darby, keep up with everybody. Sting, like they said, Sting got it. He hasn't lost it one bit. So Stinger, kudos to the Stinger. Also, too, Sammy Guevara, been a whole bunch of news is late with him. Sammy Guevara proposed to his girlfriend before the show. Sammy Guevara now engaged to be married to his girlfriend. Big up to Sammy Guevara for that. Sammy Guevara now finna be a married man. And Sammy Guevara was in action against Shawn Spears, another rival of his. Sammy Guevara and Shawn Spears took it to the limit. And they took it to the limit, as Sam Guevara is a member of the Inner Circle, and Spears is a member of the Pinnacle. Well, it went there for a minute. Guevara, it they just put all the moves what you can think of. Sammy going up top, hitting that devastating splash. Thought he was gonna win, but Spears kicked out. Also, then Spears delivered that little Death Valley driver. He thought he was gonna win over Sammy. Sammy kicked out that. So Spears and Guevara both went up to the top rope. As you see right here, Spears gave Guevara the finger that he's number one in his book, and Guevara didn't like that one bit. You see right here, Spears again doing that Death Valley drive up top. And at the end, Guevara won with a roll up, beating Spears with 1, 2, 3. Sammy Guevara on the roll. Sammy Guevara now been a great week for him. He helped his best friend get a contract. Now he got engaged. So Sammy Guevara is living his best life and living his best life indeed. So congratulations in order to Sammy Guevara. And now you see right, he's embracing his fiance. And now Sammy Guevara is engaged to get married. Big up, congratulations in order. All right. Also, too, Thunder Rosa was in action as well. Thunder Rosa took on Penelope Ford. She beat her with a clean slate. Also, too, the Young Bucks were defending their World Tag Team titles against Jurassic Express until it was chaos and controversy as other teams tried to get involved. And Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus couldn't concentrate. So we know next week is going to be a tag team turmoil to determine the new number one contenders for the Young Bucks World Tag Team titles. So we get that later. Also, too, Dan Lambert been causing a ruckus as Dan Lambert continues his tirade on wrestling. He continues tirade against Lance Archer. So down the road, Lance Archer and Dan Lambert are going to get it down on. But Dan Lambert has sent someone as Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky to take care of his dead weight with being what's his name? Ethan the Murder Hawk. So we talk about that. Also, too, we know that John Moxley issued a challenge that he wants to take on Danny Garcia, and they're going to happen on Rampage this week. So Dan Garcia will get his shot against Moxley this week. So look for Danny Garcia to get his co-uppers. The newcomer, getting his co-uppers way more than he can see. Also, too, Paul White, aka the Big Show, came out there and he issued a challenge to QT Marshall for a match at All Out. And you see QT Marshall's reaction right here. He don't like that one bit after what QT Marshall had done last week. QT Marshall had called out Tony Schiavone, thought he was going to be an interview segment, but Tony Schiavone got set up by QT Marshall and his gang group, The Factory. So QT Marshall had tried to attack Tony Schiavone's son, And Big Show didn't like that one bit. Big Show came out there, and now we know now Big Show goes against QT Marshall at All Out, 1-on-1. I think look at QT Marshall's face tells the story. He looks petrified. He looks like he don't know what he's gonna do. I mean, you should have not messed with Tony Schiavone. You should just let him do the interview and not pick on his son. That's your problem, man. You should have just let it be. But QT Marshall now putting his foot in his mouth, and now he's gonna have to pay for it when he goes 1-on-1 against Paul White at All Out in Chicago. Well, we'll talk about another Chicago name, CM Punk, that's slated to appear on the Chicago show this Friday on Rampage. We'll get to that later on in the show on Hot Topics. Also, too, was Chris Jericho's fifth labors of Jericho. Now, we know Chris Jericho has endured the most. He went through four matches to get his hands on MJF. Chris Jericho had to go through first match, Shawn Spears, in a chairs match. Shawn Spears was the only one to use a chair, but Jericho couldn't use a chair. Jericho managed to defeat Shawn Spears. Then Jericho went on to go against that Nick Cage in a hardcore match. It was a hardcore match. Jericho brought out the Painmaker, his ultimate pain hardcore gimmick. Jericho managed to win over that. It was glass shed, everything. Jericho looked like he was beaten bad and fried. Then it went to Juice Guerrero, where Jericho had to go and use a top rope maneuver to win the match. Jericho used the mid-air Judas effect and got the 1-2-3. Jericho went on to go against Warlow. That was a match on his own. Warlow, the Monster Beast. He's gonna be a big babyface down the road. When the inner circle turns on him or whatever, Warlow sees the inner circles, errors, ways. He's gonna turn on. He's gonna be a big star. He's gonna be a big babyface. I can tell. Warlow has the potential, and we'll see down the road. Now it finally comes to the end. Jericho went against MJF, but this time Jericho couldn't have his Judas music or use the Judas effect, his signature move on MJF. If he did, he would be forfeiting the match. Well, MJF should have known this. The fans sung Chris Jericho's music for himself, and the fans knew every song, every bit, and they were singing crowd participation. Chris Jericho didn't come along. He didn't need the music. He just went out there and let the music speak for itself as the fans sung him the music. The fans did a incredible job. Well, Chris Jericho and MJF had a phenomenal match. Was this the change in the guard between Jericho, the leader of the Inner Circle, and MJF, the leader of the Pinnacle? Was this with MJF saying that he was going to take it? He's sick and tired of legends like Jericho and everybody else trying to rip a brand, rip a Porsche. Well, just Jericho did his best and all in. We thought Jericho was going to tap out, do MJF's arm breaker, but that didn't happen. MJF countered it. Well, Jericho countered it with a roll up, but MJF countered it again. MJF won with that arm bar. So MJF now won and defeated Chris Jericho in the fifth and final labors of match. So Chris Jericho, there's nothing to be ashamed of. Chris Jericho, going through 5 different opponents at the end, MJF, that's a lot. But Chris Jericho has nothing to be ashamed of, and I mean nothing to be ashamed of what he had done and accomplished in his career. Jericho is slowly moving to the commentary field, and he's a great commentator on that new show, AEW Rampage. They say you got Excalibur, you got Mark Henry, Taz. I would rather have a 3-man booth. Mark Henry, okay. I can see Mark Henry do like backstage or something, but doing like a Tony Schiavone role, like come into the ring and come out the ring backstage, But I can see Jericho and Taz and Excalibur doing it. But I'm not knocking Mark Henry, but I just don't see it. But to each his own. So hey, here's what it is. So, and then 2, Christian, the new Impact champion, He got attacked by Ken Omega. Ken Omega finally passing the Impact title to Christian. So I don't know where they're gonna go. So hey, it's been a phenomenal show. It was a phenomenal show on AEW. So let's move quickly. Let's move quickly to hot topics. On hot topics this week, we've been telling you, it's tomorrow night gonna be the night that we see CM Punk make the appearance, and if he do, we'll have highlights and information on tomorrow's SmackDown Rampage Ring Reports. So we'll have that. CM Punk stated to make his move to AEW as the first dance. We'll see if he does. It's gonna be a phenomenal way to bring him in. Bring him in to his hometown crowd, Chicago. So we'll see on that. Also, too, there's been rumors and reports that Ric Flair could be AEW bound. If Ric Flair comes, I mean, you got Ric Flair and Andrade. When Ric Flair gonna manage Andrade, that's kind of the normal, natural fit. Since Flair is Andrade's soon-to-be son-in-law, so it kind of makes sense. So, could we see Ric Flair return back to TNT/TBS down the future? I mean, that would be nostalgia. A nostalgia appearance by Ric Flair coming back 20 years later. Same way like we did with Sting. So it'll be a homecoming indeed on TNT. So we'll see that. Also, too, Miro did announce that he wants to go against Eddie Kingston. So Miro and Kingston. Miro has been a strong fighting champion as late on for the TNT title. So was it next gonna mean the TBS title? So we'll see. They should call it the AEW TV title, but to each his own. So it's been a lot going on. We talked about earlier. Sam Guevara he's engaged to get married. Congratulations over to Sam Guevara. So it's been a lot going on AEW. So AEW kicks out with a bang. We're gonna kick it off too. So join us tomorrow night. Join us tomorrow after SmackDown, after Rampage. We do like a midnight show or a Saturday morning show. However, we will be back for the SmackDown Rampage Ring Report, giving you the latest on the final go home show for SmackDown. Slam. They will have their match. Also, too, Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair. That match, the final go home show for SmackDown and the SummerSlam. We'll get to that. And then we'll have the Pro Wrestling Show presents the SummerSlam predicted outcome later on that morning, that Saturday morning. And we'll have Rampage. If CM Punk shows up, and CM Punk is AEW man, we'll get to that. All right. Thank you all for watching this special edition of the Pro Wrestling Show Ring Report for AEW Dynamite. I've been your host, Kendrick Dix, saying so long. We'll see you next time for another edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. See you later.